There is power in a story, and we all have a story. Our stories, if told, can inspire, encourage, and motivate. Hi, I am Rhonda, and welcome to the Book of Lives. Hi everyone, welcome to the Book of Lives. Today we're going to be talking with an educator and entrepreneur, Mr. Alvin Doris. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Rhonda. I'm well, thanks. How are you today?
I'm good. So Alvin, you have been an educator for, I think 20 years. Is it 20 years?
So I have been a trained teacher for 20 years. I have not taught all these years. In fact, I got out of active teaching some 13 years ago. I'm talking about full-time teaching some 13 years ago. But yes, I've been a trained teacher for 20 years. And as we say in these parts, and you would know this very well, once a teacher, always a teacher. Once an educator, always an educator. So though I have left the physical classroom, I have not abandoned and cannot abandon education at all.
Understood. So you are clearly passionate about education. Where did that passion come from?
I am passionate about education. As a young boy growing up in the country in West Coast Belize, the only prospects, because of my family's economic situation, the only prospects of my becoming something resided in my succeeding in education. I saw education as the way out for me, especially having an appreciation for what my family situation was. Mother, a school dropout. I don't think my mother ever went to high school. I don't think my father ever went to high school. My grandparents, these were people of low literacy level, low education. And somehow I became appreciative of how lack of education could condemn one to abject lack generally, could condemn one to poverty. And though I couldn't really process the magnitude of poverty as a child, I knew enough to know that it wasn't the life I wanted. And I just saw education, God and education as the way out.
Awesome. So recognizing the important role education plays in one's development, and I guess in the development of a society, you created an educator platform called Edify. Tell us, what exactly is Edified? How does it work? Give us the deets.
All right, yeah. So I always knew that there was something that I wanted to do, something significant that could positively impact education locally, regionally, and globally. For a while, I flirted with the idea of founding a model high school because I've always been appreciative of how seemingly education-centered our education system is. Examination-centered our education system is. And I don't believe education is for examination. I believe education is for life. Mm-hmm. I believe education should contribute to human capital development, and a country's success, a country's development depends on its human capital. And so I wanted to develop a model high school to show my vision of what education should be. It hasn't happened. And more recently, I became a bit appreciative of the transition in education from the traditional proximate or in-person, in-class method or mode of education delivery to e-learning, to the distance education mode. And so my bricks and mortars kind of school would probably not be quite in keeping with this paradigm shift in education. And so I examined too how the coronavirus disease has altered our world, has affected, impacted, mostly negatively, all sectors of human society. And I have regard for the reality that if there is one sector that has been affected in many regards irreversibly, that must be the education sector. And so I thought it might be a good thing to provide a means of access to quality education to persons who ordinarily wouldn't have access to education and quality education because of where they're resident. For instance, they are residents of the hinterland regions of our country, you know very well, that may not have access to the quality education to which coastlanders would have access. There is now better internet access in their locales. And so, you know, there is a good opportunity for proper access of education virtually by the distance learning mode. And I also looked at how education, even if we were to wake up tomorrow to hear that COVID-19 is no longer with us, education really should not be delivered through that traditional means exclusively. There should be an alternative to that means of education. It is especially important for people whose jobs, whose lives may be too hectic for them to actually go to a physical school, a physical classroom. And I think too of sports persons, you know, athletes and so on, whose pursuit of sports, athletics, often comes in conflict with or competition with education. And to my estimation, education should not compete with other endeavors in life. Education should complement. And so I thought about a comprehensive, educator-driven, learner-centered software that could provide access to quality, affordable, or competitively priced education to all and sundry. And so from that desire, that vision, Edified was birthed.
What kinds of courses will be available on Edified?
So as I said, Edified is educator-driven. Unlike many other education platforms, unlike many well-established learning management systems, for instance, that essentially provide a means through which persons desirous of delivering education could do so, Edified allows educators to sign up, to create their courses within the disciplines and divisions provided. And just in case an educator is desirous of creating a course that does not belong to any of the existing disciplines, for instance, and we are talking about in excess of 130 disciplines currently, that educator has the leverage to reach out to Edify and say, here is a course, or here is a suite of courses I wish to offer. I don't see any existing discipline under which such course or courses could be appropriately situated. I believe that this is what the discipline ought to be. And we examine it, we have a conversation, we examine it, and we add that discipline and allow the educator to add his or her courses and deliver be it through live sessions, live video sessions using Zoom or Google Meet or any other such platform he or she wishes to use, and or self-paced learning opportunities, So Edified intends to cater to both the synchronous and asynchronous demands of learners everywhere. So yes, so educators get to offer the courses. I can't tell you of any specific number of courses a learner is likely to find in Edify, because that will depend on the number of courses educators create.
I'm assuming it's going to grow over time.
It's going to grow. It's going to grow.
Yes.
We expect it to grow exponentially. That scope of course offerings.
Mm-hmm. So what differentiates Edified from YouTube? Sorry, someone can say, I can put my courses on YouTube. Why do I need Edified?
Edified is fundamentally different from YouTube in purpose and function. So as we know, YouTube is the world leader in video sharing. YouTube, over these last 15, 16 years of its existence, if I'm correct, has evolved into more than a mere video sharing platform. It is now a social media platform, a large social media platform, quite useful. So as it relates to the purpose of development, YouTube was created for video sharing primarily. Edified has been developed for the purpose of delivering education. So the purpose for each platform's creation is different. The function also is different. Edified's function is different from YouTube's. You can also create content and deliver on YouTube, especially recorded, either pre-recorded or live streaming content. With Edified, because it is developed by educator for education with a learner focus, it provides educators an opportunity to have access to a dashboard, for instance, on which an educator can manage his content creation, his learner can schedule with ease of access to third-party platforms such as I said earlier, Google Meet and Zoom meeting, access these third-party platforms, schedule live sessions, schedule self-paced learning materials, and have interaction with learners, real-time track, manage learner performance, connect to third-party assessment platforms or software, and use them to assess learners and track progress and all that sort of thing. So in both, as I said, function and purpose, Zoom, YouTube, and Edified are fundamentally different. You would not be able to, for instance, go on YouTube and have access to, let's say, a library or a set of catalogs, virtual libraries, books, and journals. With Edified and both the educator and the learner have access to enormous education resource support materials, right? Education support resource materials. And so they're different. They're fundamentally different.
So I'm assuming this has been quite a journey, quite a process, right? What have you learned? What have you learned from this process?
You know, Rhonda, it has been a grueling experience.
I can imagine.
For this last, let's say, 9 months. It's been, I believe that in some ways, I can appreciate what a woman through from conception
To delivery?
Because it's been about 9 months. And
I'm not sure many women will agree with that, but okay, go on.
Edified in some ways is my baby, and I have carried this laboriously across 9 months with several challenges that could easily have resulted in an abortion of this vision. It has taught me to persevere despite the odds, to persevere. I mean, my life is the sum total of perseverance, persistence despite the odds, defiance of odds. But this taught me like no other project to which I committed would have taught me the need for perseverance. It has really helped me to grow as a person, to be a bit more patient, a bit more resilient. Every time I'm knocked down, I find some way of bouncing back and finding some alternative, finding some solution. So it has taught me a great deal over these 9 months. I say 9 months. 9 months would not have been from time of conception. It would be longer, probably about a year. But from the time, let's say, I signed off on an agreement with a developer to start this project to now, it's been 9 months. It has taught me to persevere. You have a passion, you have a vision. The pursuit of such passion, the pursuit of fruition of such vision will be challenging. And if you don't have the resolve to overcome the challenges in this pursuit, then you really have to ask yourself whether it's a vision in the first place, whether it's something about which you have a real conviction. So it has taught me a whole lot. I still lack sleep. I don't know when I'll recoup all the lost sleep, but it's been quite a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. What is your vision for Edified? Where do you want to see this go?
Rhonda, I'm a man of ambition, great ambition and audacity. My audacity has caused me some heartaches in life. But I am nonetheless audacious. I'm perhaps a bit more pragmatic in my audacity. And so I would say that my vision for Edified is to see Edified become the global centerpiece for education, that go-to place for both freelance educators, educational institutions, and learners globally, that hub of education, world-class educators, innovative methodologies in education delivery, best available technology in education. I see Edified becoming to education what, to use our reference earlier, YouTube is to video sharing in the world.
Awesome. If someone, an educator or a learner, wants to have access to Edified, where do they go?
Just search for Edified. I imagine if you were to run a search on Google, you are likely to find Edified. That aside, just use the URL, edified.com, EDEFIED.com, and you find Edified, and there you can explore the application. It has solid ease of use, solid from the feedback we've received so far. Good user experience, good flow. So it's really easy to use. It's easy to navigate. So yeah, I encourage all and sundry to check out Edified.
Awesome. Alvin, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Rhonda. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. For those of you who are watching, thank you so much. Until next time, stay inspired.